Hey guys! In today's lesson, we're going to learn the second basic stitch, the double crochet. Because this stitch is taller than the single crochet, it has a couple of extra steps, but don't let that scare you. The double crochet is probably my favorite stitch because it works up quickly and there are various techniques you can use to make it look different at any time. To start, go ahead and create your slip knot, then chain 13. The first thing that we're going to do differently than the single crochet is we're going to yarn over our hook before we insert our hook into the next stitch. Go ahead and yarn over your crochet hook and insert your hook into the fourth chain from the hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're inserting it into the fourth chain. Now we're going to yarn over and pull that loop through. Now you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, make sure your hook is facing down, and pull that strand through 2 loops. Now we have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And that is your double crochet stitch. Now let's try that again. So first we're going to yarn over our hook. Find your next stitch, which is right here. This is the chain that you just double crocheted into. So we're going to go to the next chain here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and you'll have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And before I do that, remember to use your thumb and your middle finger and you can pull your work down so that it's easier to pull through those loops. Okay, and I'll do it again. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now continue double crocheting in each chain until you reach the last chain. Oh, and one more tip. Whenever you yarn over, it might help to use your pointer finger to hold that yarn in place as you insert your hook into the next chain so that it doesn't fall off. And you can do the same here if you need to. Okay, and here is our last chain here, so we're going to double crochet into this chain. Okay, and this right here is our slip stitch from the beginning when we started our chain, so of course that does not count as a stitch. And this is our first row of double crochet, so let's go over this a little bit. So here you see on the front is the post of the stitch. So this is the top of the stitch here, and this is the post. Because the double crochet is so much taller than the single crochet, you can count by the post if that's easier for you. So let's go ahead and count the post. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this is our chain 3. Remember at the beginning of this round when we placed our first double crochet into that 4th chain? Well, those 3 chains that we skipped at the beginning counts as a double crochet. So we have 11 double crochet in this first row. Now moving on to row 2, we're going to chain 3 for the double crochet. Remember, this is called our turning chain, and we need to chain 3 at the beginning to reach the height of the double crochet. And like I just said when I was going over counting them, the chain 3 for the double crochet does count as a stitch. So whenever we're working our second row, this chain counts as a stitch, which means we'll be placing our very first stitch into this stitch here. So not this stitch, this is the first stitch, but because this counts, it's basically like this is a stitch. So we're going to be placing our very first double crochet into this second stitch here. So yarn over, insert your hook under both of those loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there you have it. And you have a hole here because we skipped that first stitch, but this is normal. The more rows that you crochet, the more it'll straighten out. And I'll show you that as we go along. So go ahead and double crochet into the very next stitch, which is right here. Yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we'll do that one more time, pretty slow. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to continue double crocheting slowly across the row, and you continue to do the same. Now I'm going to stop here to explain this last part just a little bit. So now we have 2 stitches left in this row. This right here is an actual double crochet, so you can see the stitch here. But then we have that chain 3 that I was telling you about that we skipped in the beginning. You will also double crochet into the top chain of that chain 3. So you don't want to forget to put a double crochet there. So I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet into the top of the chain 3. And sometimes it can be a little tight, but just squeeze it in there. All right, and there you have your second row of double crochet. So let's go over this really quick again. We should have 11 double crochet in this row. So we have 1, and this is our chain 3 from the beginning of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we still have the correct amount of stitches in each row. And that's it for the double crochet. Continue this swatch by repeating row 2, chain 3, and double crochet in each stitch across. Remember, you can always go back and re-watch the steps as many times as you need to. Okay, so I've stopped here at row 5 so I could show you really quickly how to count your rows. So here I have 5 rows of double crochet. So we have our foundation chain, and that is after we made the slip knot, we created a chain of 13, and then we double crocheted our first row. So this is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. This is the front side of the stitch, and this is the back side of the stitch. And that's how you can kind of tell between each row. All right, well that is it for the double crochet tutorial. If you haven't heard, I created these video tutorials to go along with my 7-day Learn to Crochet challenge. So if you're a beginner and you'd like to sign up, I'll leave the link in the description box below. By the end of this 7-day challenge, you'll learn everything you need to know, from the basic materials you need to get started to creating your very first project.